Inspiration 41 Willys. A classic body style known in the Pro Modified ranks for many years. With Ed Wilson still sporting the 41 Willys body, and Chris Reaney, I think that's the story of the weekend right now in Pro Nitrous, is having a guy that is challenged for world championships back in category for the last 2 races of the season. Reaney for ATI Performance Products and Pat Musey Power. Maxima Racing Oils, Mazir Enterprises, and like Jamie Miller on board with that team as they are looking to get back in championship form for the last couple of laps here on 2025 calendar. So your first pair coming out at you, Chris Reaney and Ed Wilson. So once again, Pro Boost, if you're not in the lanes, we need you now. Pro Boost, if you're not in the lanes, we need you now. Extreme Pro Stock, you are on standby. Extreme Pro Stock, you're on standby. Wilson goes into severe tire shake, and Chris Reaney does as well. Both drivers were 944 down low, stepped off the pedal, and will coast down. Chris Reaney 497 and Ed Wilson 574. So that kind of gives everybody back in the staging lanes a little bit of a preview of what's to come. Reaney's car, not as severe a tire shake as Ed Wilson's. Wilson's was very severe. The right-hand side of the racetrack as soon as he dropped the hammer. As Cam Clark and Brian Schrader, your next 2. Cam Clark's team frantically trying to get that car fired up in the burnout box. Brian Schrader patiently waits on the right-hand side of the racetrack. Brian Schrader will make the lap 370, 202 miles per hour, and Cam Clark not making the call. The 1 minute clock ran out on that team as they were frantically trying to make it. They were not able to get there in time and do so in a safe enough manner to make the lap. So once again, Brian Schrader 370 with a 7, 202 miles per hour. Took that Chevrolet Corvette right down the Stevenson Hendrick right-hand side of the racetrack. Nice clean lap for the Robert Hayes Motorsports team. Brian Schrader will move on. So Cam Clark, that team had a lot of trouble trying to get it to stay running or light on all 8. They tried to rip the nose off and do what they could to make the call. Tried to get there. Time ran out to make the run in a safe manner and was not able to move forward and make the first round of qualifying. So that team will go back and go to work. So they have 2 more sessions here on Friday afternoon to get that done and put themselves on the ladder. Right now, Brian Schrader sets the pace, 370 with a 7. It's 2 more roll up to the burnout box, and Dane Wood and Tim Papp. 2 tough runners here in Schweitzer Dynamics Pro Nitrous, and Tim Papp has nearly completed his first full season here in the Pro Nitrous category, and he started it right here at Galot Motorsports Park back in April, and he did so with a win. So Tim Papp and Dane Wood, your next 2, going to roll to the concrete, see what they have for us here in round number 1 of qualifying. Dane Wood, Tim Papp. Next 2 going to roll to the starting line. Papp will be second to stage. Papp goes into tire shake. Dane Wood wheels in the air to the 330 and clicks off the loud pedal. 410, 138 miles per hour for Dane. Tim Papp was first to leave the starting line and first to 60 foot. Drove into tire shake after that and aborted mission. The KTR-tuned Chevrolet Corvette. So the drivers will fall into the field number 2 and number 4, respectively. Next 2 coming out at you will be Freddie Scriba, left-hand side of the racetrack, Millersville, Maryland. The 42-year-old mechanical engineer driving the Sorcerer. 69 model Chevrolet Camaro, left-hand side, powered by Pat Busey, and right-hand side. Last night's runner-up in the Thunder Valley Throwdown, Tim Molnar, Seville, Ohio, the 58-year-old business owner, driving his 69 model Chevrolet Camaro for Gem Attachments. ARC Gas and Tricky Ricky Smith on board the crew chief of that hot rod. Chad and that team looking to continue a little bit of momentum. Coming into Drag Wars, like we spoke on last night, he was runner-up to Tommy Franklin, the postponed final round from Bristol. Molnar lead down at 368 on that run. Would expect to see them make a respectable lap somewhere in that same elapsed time range right here. He sits beside the defending world champion, Freddie Scriba. The left-hand side of the racetrack will be looking to make a big one. Needs a big weekend to go his way if he wants to go back-to-back for world championships. And it all starts right here in round number 1 of qualifying. Freddie Scriba, Tim Molnar, your next two. Scriba's out of the pedal. Molnar straight and true, 372, 203 miles per hour from Molnar. 949 down low and 252 to the split. Tricky Ricky takes Tim Molnar up to the number 2 spot. So you're watching at home on FloRacing. You'll watch it back with a close-up shot of Freddie Scriba. Went into tire shake around 60 feet. An aborted mission. Tim Molnar, straight and true. Extreme Pro Stock will take you to the lanes now. Extreme Pro Stock will take you to the lanes for round number 1 of qualifying. Extreme Pro Stock, we need you now. Next two rolling out, Billy Albert, left-hand side, the Wytheville, Virginia-based engine builder for Structure Mechanical. Rolls in on the left-hand side of the racetrack, sits beside Marcus Butner. Butner, the 31-year-old subcontractor out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina. A home state race for the Butner Construction Camp for Redline Oil and Precision Shaft Technologies, the presenting sponsor. Here this weekend, a Drag Wars also helping out Marcus Butner and team. So we'll sit side by side with Billy Albert as last night Marcus made a couple of good runs. Went 362 in the second round of eliminations from the Bristol race. Kind of caught us all off guard a little bit. Didn't really think that was out there. But now you're in different conditions right now. The sun's out on the racetrack. It's a little bit warmer. Seen Brian Schrader's 370 still leading the way, and Tim Molnar's consistent 372 puts him number 2. I think that is kind of where both of these drivers will look to be, probably a little bit quicker in the high 360 range. Tricky Ricky Smith also on board the Billy Albert car, left-hand side of the racetrack, and Jay Cox tuning up Marcus Butner here on the right-hand side. Billy Albert, Marcus Butner, your next to last pair here in Pro Nitrous. Albert's out of the pedal. Marcus Butner to the top end and goes to the top of the leaderboard. 367.1, 206 miles per hour for Butner, 942 down low and 247 to the split. Jay Cox has got a handle on that Butner Construction 69 model Chevrolet Camaro right about now. It's Marcus Butner goes to the top of the leaderboard by 0.03 of a second with one pair to go here in round number 1 of qualifying. So these two drivers come in number 1 and number 2, the championship point standings. And that's why they are the last pair to come up in category. Left-hand side, Miss Amber Denton, 22-year-old administrative assistant out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, will sit beside her father. Right-hand side, Tommy Franklin, last night's winner of the postponed Bristol eliminations, the 51-year-old electrician driving the Jungle Rat 3.0, sits beside a car that he's driven to a world championship. These two have battled it out all season long. Currently with 2 races to go, sit number 1 and number 2 in the standings. Tommy had a big race coming through Bristol, got all the points he could. Amber going to try to avenge a first-round defeat here this weekend. So your final pair in Pro Nitrous will be looking to go to the top. If they want to do it, you got to outrun Marcus Butner, 367.1 that they just watched down the right-hand side of the racetrack. Amber Denton, Tommy Franklin, your final pair here in category for round number 1 of qualifying. Tommy's not going to make the trip. Amber to the top end, 370, 204 miles per hour. Amber Denton will move up on the qualifying sheet to number 2 by 4 thousandths of a second. Tommy Franklin, not making it down the racetrack, will go number 9 on the sheet. So after one session, Marcus Butner 1, Amber Denton 2, Brian Schrader 3, Tim Molnar 4, and Dane Wood rounds out your top 5. Top end crew will come out and check the top end of the racetrack, as you see back on FloRacing. If you're watching at home, Amber chutes come out and a lot of smoke out of the back end of that car. Not sure if that was tire smoke or something in the parachutes or what. But going to check that out, make sure everything is A-OK before we fire off WS Construction Pro Boost. Round number 1 of qualifying is in the books for Schweitzer Dynamics Pro Nitrous, and at this time, Extreme Pro Stock and Pro 632. If you are not on your way to the staging lanes, start making your way here now. Extreme Pro Stock and Pro 632. We need you now. Extreme Pro Stock, Pro 632. We need you to the staging lanes now for round number 1 of pairings. First car out here in category will be a single. Bubba Green, right-hand side from Taylor, South Carolina. The Killer Mater. New Camaro for Scotty Cannon. This entire team, they have put a lot of thought, ingenuity, and everything else on board this car, wrapped by our friends over at Victory Vinyl. MBRC chassis design with the unique zoomy header layout. As you can see if you're watching at home on FloRacing, you got a really intricate shot of how the front end looks and how different the zoomy layout is on this car compared to everything else. If you know the past of drag racing and Scotty Cannon, kind of makes sense. Scotty always did things a little out of the book. He's doing the same right here on Bubba Green's Chevrolet Camaro. Big smack on the injector hats. Bubba's going to try to lay down a lap right here in his first shot of qualifying here on Friday afternoon. Bubba Green, the floor is yours. A hard move to the left-hand side of the racetrack, and the wheelie bars on that car are definitely broken. So kind of makes sense as to why that car moved off to the left. Is looks like when the wheelie bars found the racing surface, something gave way. Those cars, or the bars, were flopping behind the car as he went down the racetrack. So Bubba Green wisely steps off the pedal. We'll coast down. The team will go to work. Get that repaired for the next round of qualifying. So Extreme Pro Stock and Pro 632. Extreme Pro Stock, Pro 632. We need you now. Our next two drivers coming out, Frank Falter, the fourth, left-hand side from Pasadena, Maryland. 69 model Chevrolet Camaro, known as the Candy Man. For Maxima Racing Oils and VP Racing Fuels. Candy Man Racing Team, left-hand side. Getting a handle on this thing. They had raced over an elite top dragster for a number of seasons here in the PDRA. Now they find themselves in arguably the toughest class in drag racing. So they purchased this Jerry Bickle Race Cars chassis, threw some horsepower between the frame rails, slapped a screw blower on top of it, and said, let's go play with the best in the business. Right here in Pro Boost, they sit beside Don Tolley. Tolley, right-hand side out of Bedford, Virginia, the 2014 model Chevrolet Camaro. Also packing a screw blower on top of his Hemi as well. So teams will clear them out. We'll move into the pre-stage bulbs as both drivers make their first attempt at the racetrack here in round number 1 of qualifying. Frank Falter, Don Tolley, that's 2. Falter makes a hard move to the left-hand side of the racetrack and aborts. Don Tolley will go to the top end of the racetrack, 393, 192 miles per hour for Tolley. So that team will go back, review the data, and see how they can clean that lap up and pick it up a couple hundredths of a second as we move into qualifying. So you watch it back on FloRacing. As soon as Frank Falter's car took off out of the gates, made an immediate move to the left. So the young man wisely stepped off the pedal. We'll come back to battle it out again here in round number 2 later on this afternoon. So top end gets cleared off. Our green lights from our safety quad turn on. Cameron Hensley and Jay Cox will be your next two. Cam Hensley, left-hand side from Coast Packing Company, PTP Racing, Lions Custom Motorsports. Eric Gustafson watching on back home in Vernon, California. It's the young gun, Cam Hensley, behind the wheel of the Pro Charger. Boosted left-hand side of the racetrack. His white 69 model Camaro, the Pumpkin. Right-hand side for Jay Cox, the twin turbocharged Pro Line Power between the frame rails of the Quartermax Racing RJ Race Cars built Chevrolet Camaro. The right-hand side of the racetrack for Butner Construction and Smithfield Collision. Jay Cox, hometown race for him. The M&M transmission backed Pumpkin. Here on the right-hand side of the racetrack, we'll be looking to lay down a lap here at Gallatin Motorsports Park, where he has seen a lot of success through his career. And Cam Hensley, coming off a strong outing a couple of races ago. See if he can turn it on. Jay Cox has a handful of tire shake, and Cam Hensley lifts out of the pedal early, goes 372.1 at only 176 miles per hour, down about 25 miles per hour for Hensley. So that car was on a really good run right there. Not sure if it laid over and lost power or if Cam took his foot out of the pedal. But Jay Cox had a handful of a lot of tire shake over here on the right-hand side of the groove. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, you'll see it back here As soon as the car left the starting line, it washed out and went immediately left. Jay tried to hang with it, but drove into tire shake, and Cam Hensley rockets out to go 372. Looks like it just laid over. Not sure if he lifted or not, or if the car shut itself off, but like we said, down over 25 miles per hour for that car. So Hensley was on a good one. Just had to give up the ghost. Jason Lee, left-hand side, the second half, the Coast Packing Company PTP racing team. Sits alongside Scott Lang, the AML Motorsports Equalizer Chevrolet Camaro, here on the right-hand side for Keenan Allen. Jason Lee and Scott Lang, the next two to do battle here in round number 1 of qualifying. There's a good side-by-side race. How about side-by-side? 363.2, quicker of the two for Scott Lang. Jason Lee, 364.7 for the screw-blown Coast Packing team. So Scott Lang shows what's out there. 363.2 down the right-hand side of the racetrack is now the number to beat. Here in round number 1 of qualifying, as Lang goes 1, Jason Lee goes 2, right in front of his Coast Packing teammate and Cam Hensley. I've kind of been sitting up here waiting on that pair that goes down, that just really goes out and shows what's out on the racetrack, and that was it. So now you'll see the rest of the teams here in Pro Boost start scrambling around, either making a move for more power, moving weight around in the car, or whatever it may be. But those two got it right off the ramps here on Friday morning. Raymond Matos, left-hand side out of Baymont, Puerto Rico, for the 20 model Chevrolet Camaro for Proline Racing and PMS race cars. Right side, Ed Marks, the Cherry Valley, California consultant for Marks Motorsports, D-Cell Battery Systems, PS West Construction, and WIO Motorsports and Tie Drive. Mark Savage on board doing the crew chiefing on this car for Ed Marks. And Marks has made a couple of laps here at Galop Motorsports Park thus far this weekend that has been extremely tough and will be a handful if they put it all together here this weekend. But like we always say, it starts in the opening round of qualifying. And Raymond Matos and Ed Marks just watched two good runs down each side of the racetrack to try and put themselves in contention for an event win here this weekend at Drag Wars. Ed Marks, Raymond Matos, your next two. Another side-by-side race, quicker of the two, goes to Ed Marks, and all the way to the top of the leaderboard, 362.2, 210 miles per hour for the California-based Chevrolet Camaro, and Raymond Matos, 368.3, puts him in the number 4 qualifying position out of the 9 cars that have put themselves down the race course. So Ed Marks puts himself on the top of the leaderboard thus far, tells everybody that's sitting in the staging lanes, if you want to go to the top, you got to go quicker than 362.2. This time we'll take Pro Street. Pro Street will take you to the lanes now. Pro Street, if you are not already making your way to the staging lanes, we need you now. Pro Street, bring them on down. So Ed Marks 1, Scott Lang 2, and Jason Lee round out your top 3 thus far. They host of big names left in category coming up. John Dock and Kurt Stedding, your next two. Kurt Stedding, right-hand side from Carnegie, Pennsylvania, the 51-year-old contractor for P2 Contracting and WIO Motorsports. Needs a big weekend. If he wants to chase a world championship, needs a little bit of help as well along the way. We talk about it all the time, how tough this category is. And it's just one of those groups of cars that's like anybody can win any given weekend. And we talk about how sometimes you need a little bit of luck on your side, but there is so much skill in this category. Anybody could win once qualifying's complete and you're in the field. John Dock, left-hand side, Benson, North Carolina. The Nasty Racing Chevrolet Camaro, the left-hand side of the racetrack for Southern Diamond Company. Both drivers going to look to put themselves on the top side of the sheet here in round number one of qualifying. They go side by side to the top end. Kurt Stedding, quicker of the two, 362.0, 208 miles per hour for P2 Contracting, and John Dock, 364.3, puts himself number 4, and Kurt Stedding says, excuse me, Ed Marks, you're holding a spot that I want to be at. 362.0, now the time to beat Kurt Stedding, your provisional number 1 qualifier. Come through the burnout box. One car successful, one car not so much. Steve King's Savage Corvette has gone silent. Out here on the right-hand side of the racetrack, and not sure what has happened. But Evan Salemi is frantically thrashing around the car. They're going to try to push it back, see if they can get it fired up and at least try to make the lap. But Steve King's car revved up in the burnout box and shut slam off. Not sure if they'll be able to make the call. This team is frantically out pushing it back, but it still remains silent. On the right-hand side of the racetrack for Gene Pilot, Jeff Miller and the entire team for the Savage Corvette, as it looks like they are going straight to the water box. So Randy Weatherford will be a solo shot here in the opening round of qualifying. For WS Construction, Proline Racing, Fuel Tech, and the Harts Charger. One of the first drivers to bolt the new Harts Charger on was Weatherford, and immediately saw success. If he wants a chance at a world championship, he better find some success this weekend as well. Randy Weatherford, the floor is yours. Weatherford, 368.4, 209 miles per hour. Pretty consistent run down the racetrack. 926 down low. Was good in the early part of the run, but just kind of sounded like it labored out around 100 feet. Weatherford kept his foot pinned to the floorboard. Goes 368.4 to put himself number 7 on the qualifying sheet thus far. Kurt Stedding's 362.0, still the class of the field with a couple of pairs to go. Johnny Camp, Jason Harris, your next two to roll to the water box. A battle of the Pro Charge teammates. The Hells Bells Chevrolet for Johnny Camp will be on the left-hand side of the racetrack. The black and orange 69 model Chevrolet will sit beside the Party Time. Jason Harris is Party Time Racing blue 69 model Chevrolet Camaro as well. So a couple of cars that are set up very close to the same will sit beside each other here in the opening round of qualifying. two drivers that come into Galot Motorsports Park with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Both of them lost in the Bristol race, both of them by red lights. Johnny Camp in the opening round when we were still at Bristol. Jason Harris just last night. He lit it up 4 thousandths pink to end his chances of back-to-back wins in the Thunder Valley Throwdown. But Jason Harris knows he wants to get another world championship. He has got to turn on win lights this weekend, and he needs some help to knock out the people that are ahead of him in the point standings. Johnny Camp, Jason Harris. Your next to last pair here in category for WS Construction Pro Boost. If you want to go to the top, you better take down Kurt Stedding, and you better go quicker than 3:62.0. I can promise you both drivers are going to be trying to do so right now. Both of them drive them through tire shake, and both of them light them up 362s a pair. Johnny Camp, quicker of the two, 362.0, will go second off of speed. Kurt Stedding was 208 miles per hour. Johnny Camp, 207. So Kurt Stedding remains at the top of the board. Jason Harris puts himself number 4. You watch it back on FloRacing, you see Harris's car go into a little bit of tire shake about 100 feet out. That probably cost him about 100th to put himself number 4 when we know he was trying to go number 1. So Kurt Stedding remains 1 with 1 pair to go. Melanie Salemi and Ty Tutterow. These two drivers sat beside each other last night. And when they sat beside each other last night, it was for an event win. Now, their performances through the Bristol event took them to number 1 and number 2 in the championship standings. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, you are watching back the final round from last night where they both were wheels up and both lit up the scoreboards here at Galot Motorsports Park with 3:58 elapsed times. Don't really know if a 3:58's out there right now. The sun's on the racetrack and the conditions are a lot different than they were last night. But these two drivers and teams have let it be known that they are two of the best in the country with 2 races to go, battling it out for a Pro Boost World Championship that's paying $25,000 to the winner at the end of the year. You've got 8 rounds of eliminations left. You've got 2 chances to qualify at the top of the board and get those small but important qualifying points when it comes down to a World Championship. Ty Tutterow currently leads the way for Team Quick Fuel and WIO Motorsports, and Melanie Salemi is hot on his heels and wants her first PDRA World Championship. But like we've talked about, you've got to do everything right in your camp, and sometimes you got to have a little bit of help on the way. First step in the book is get something down the racetrack in round number 1 of qualifying and give yourself some room to breathe for the rest of the day. Your final pair, WS Construction Pro Boost, round number 1 of qualifying, coming at you right about now. Melanie's car broke something early in the run, and how about Ty Tutterow flexing some muscles once again? 360 with a 2, 208 miles per hour, 908. 60 foot, the best we saw in category for the round. And Ty Tutterow says, hey boys, got it done last night when the sun was behind the clouds and we were almost ready to go to bed. Well, I woke up ready to go here for Drag Wars. Ty Tutterow leads the way after round number 1 of qualifying. Kurt Stedding 2, Johnny Camp 3, Ed Marks 4, and Jason Harris 5 will round out your top 5 here in WS Construction Pro Boost after 1 round of qualifying. Next coming up to you, AED Performance Extreme Pro Stock. Dave Hughes be our first car in category, rolling out for HRE Manifolds, the Nazareth, Pennsylvania-based 2018 model Chevrolet Camaro for AED competition and Kazi Racing engines. Ram clutches on board as well. Good to see Dave Hughes back out with us. Was with us at the Bristol event. Now, going to battle it out for an event win here at Drag Wars in Galop Motorsports Park in Benson, North Carolina. Pro Street. If you are not in the lanes, we need you now. Pro Street. If you're not in the lanes, we need you. This time we'll take Super Street. Super Street will take you to the lanes now. Super Street. Once again, Super Street will take you to the lanes now. Round number 1 of qualifying. Need you to the lanes now, Super Street. Absolute severe tire shake for Dave Hughes. Wow. I think the best caption for that one was, ow. So I heard behind me here in race control. That one hurt us. We heard that one pretty severely up here in the booth. So Dave Hughes will coast down. We'll turn our focus on to the next pairing category. Once again, Super Street. Super Street, if you are at the pit area, bring it on over. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, you saw all the chatter marks from the overhead drone shot brought to you this weekend by Quick Drive. And now you know why we said, ow, that one hurt. Stephen Boone and last night's winner from the extended Bristol race, his first PDRA 660 man in Extreme Pro Stock, Mr. Jordan Enslin. Stephen Boone, Jordan Enslin. Boone into tire shake, Jordan Enslin out and gone. How about the young gun? 4:06.1, 176 miles per hour, and that team is looking as strong as they ever have. Enslin goes 4:06 in the final, comes back in the opening round of qualifying, and goes 4:06.1. Man, that's got to be a confident race car driver right there coming off the top end of the racetrack. It's Jordan Enslin. Sets the pace and tells everybody else in category, if you want to go to the top, you got to get past the Polk County Pro Stock and the 4:06.1 you just saw on the scoreboard. Chris Powers and Elijah Morton, your next two, going to roll through the water box here at Galop Motorsports Park. So looks like Elijah Morton not going to make the call here in the opening round of qualifying. And Chris Powers, a driver that has seen so much success here at Galat Motorsports Park, will get a competition single here in the opening round of qualifying. If you get to see him make a full pass down the racetrack, you'll get to hear all the gears row through the ram clutches and through the Liberty's gears transmission on board that car, and you'll hear the Sonny's Racing Engine horsepower sing through the skies here in Benson, North Carolina. So Chris Powers, just watch Jordan Ensland go 4:06.1, knows that if he wants to go to the top of the board, you gotta go quicker than that. CP2 walks away. Chuck Samuel watching on. Solo shot down the racetrack for Chris Powers, the defending world champ. Not happy. Powers' car, when he dropped the clutch, seemed like it might have stuck the tire and then got on top of it and drove into tire shake. So Chris Powers will coast down to 10:19 for time. So you watch it back, a lot of wheel speed and right into tire shake was Chris Powers, as Jordan Ensland's 4:06 continues to impress here in Extreme Pro Stock. It's our final pair-in category rolls into the water box. Alan Drinkwater and Jeremy Huffman be your final pair-in category here in AED Performance Extreme Pro Stock. So Jeremy Huffman and Alan Drinkwater, your number 1 and number 2. The championship point standings will come up. Final pairing category. Drinkwater, the 29-year-old out of Maitland, Florida, driving the 2008 Ford Mustang for flat-out gaskets on the door, as you see at home on FloRacing and Kazi Racing engines between the frame rail. Jeremy Huffman, left-hand side. Catawba, North Carolina for 3V Performance, the 2010 model Chevrolet Cobalt. Needs a big weekend with a little bit of help to get Alan Drinkwater out of the way early. And see if he can carry on to a win to put himself back in championship contention. Comes in number 2 in the standings. But Alan Drinkwater has had a whale of a year thus far. Put himself a little bit of breathing room with 2 races to go here in the point standings. He's got a 3-round lead right now over Jeremy Huffman, and every point matters. That all starts right here in the opening round qualifying. Drinkwater into tire shake. Huffman will make the trip. 4:07, 177 miles per hour. So Jordan Ensland will end the opening round of qualifying at number 1. Jeremy Huffman will go 2. That'll be your 2 drivers out of 6 that took to the finish line under power. So Jordan Ensland continues a really strong outing thus far here in Benson, North Carolina for that Florida-based team. Jeremy Huffman, looking to stay in championship contention here this weekend, puts himself the number 2 qualifying spot after 1 session. So we move into PDRA 632, brought to you by PTC, Performance Torque Converters. They are on board with us here, Manufacturers Midway. So owner Dustin Mewborn also racing with us here in Super Street, his turbocharged Ford Mustang. So stop by and see Dustin and the team from PTC. Get you fixed up with converters, transmissions, and anything else you may need out of the shop based in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. So Tara Jarvis will be the first one coming out. Jarvis will be on a single first car in category with a odd number of cars. So she will get a solo shot at the racetrack.
Sarah Jarvis continuing to have some issues over on the right-hand side of the racetrack with the pickup truck. And next two going to come up, Mike Fiorelli, left-hand side. Hollywood, Florida. Chassis Engineering 68 model Camaro. Sits beside Ed McLemore, the Bluff City, Tennessee 2009 model Ford Mustang. Both of them with 632 cubic inches between the frame rails.
Fiorelli runs into trouble. McLemore will make a full run, 4:33, 169 miles per hour for Ed McLemore. Mike Fiorelli was a little bit quicker in 60 foot, but lifted off the loud pedal as he made his way down the race course. Ed McLemore will post the quickest time thus far, 4:33.0. Beatty Jr., left-hand side, the Baltimore, Maryland-based ATI Performance 2018 model Chevrolet Camaro, sits beside Gary Hood, the 63 model Corvette, known as the Inspector. Severn, Maryland. PTC, Hoosier Tire. SLM on board. Both drivers out and gone. Beatty quicker of the two. How about 4:17, 171 miles per hour for J.C. Beatty Jr. Do believe that is his best run thus far in 632 competition as J.C. Beatty rockets to the top of the leaderboard as Gary Hood, 4:38.5, puts himself number 3. Jason Ventura left side as race control is a fiasco. It's gone to the birds, 100%. Jason Ventura and Brian Kloss, the next two to stage it up and hopefully put things back to normal in race control. Ventura had to hang on to it through some tire shake, and Brian Kloss, 4:27.2, 167 miles per hour. As Kloss will go to the number 2 qualifying spot, and J.C. Beatty Jr., 4:17 out of that car, was thoroughly impressive here in the opening round of qualifying. As you watch it back on FloRacing at home, Ventura immediately into tire shake. Had to give up the ghost.
Nicole Liberty, left-hand side for Liberty's Gears. The design engineer out of Marine City, Michigan, driving the 99 model Firebird for Father Craig. The team is really coming on here on the back half of the season. Nicole Liberty will try to gain some more championship points as she sits beside the young gun in category, Carson Hoyle, the Hickory, North Carolina-based 69 model Chevrolet Camaro for ATI Performance Products and Pat Busey Racing Engines. Fuel Tech on board as well. Jamie Miller helping this program out, as well as Chris Reeney's Pro Nitrous car, the two-car tandem team here this weekend. Chris stands back looking on. Mom Emily can get on video for the team as two up-and-coming talents in the sport will sit beside each other here in the opening round of qualifying. Nicole Liberty and Carson Hoyle, your next two to roll to the starting line. They'll go side by side to the top end of the racetrack, and Carson Hoyle will get there first. 4:16.0, 169 miles per hour. Nicole Liberty, 4:17.2, will put those drivers, number 1 and number 2, respectively, on the qualifying sheet. Carson Hoyle, provisionally your number 1 qualifier, 4:16.0. Nicole Liberty 2, J.C. Beatty Jr. slides to 3 as Kyle Salmon, left-hand side. Michigan-based Cavalier sits beside Jeff Pittman, North Carolina-based Chevrolet Chevelle, right-hand side for Hickory Enclosed Trailer Sales. Barry Allen Race Engines, one half to the Greenbrier Excavating 632 team. This is teammate Jeff Melnick. Sits back in the staging lanes, will be in the final pair as Melnick comes into the opening round of qualifying. Your points leader. She gets the nod to sit back and watch what everybody else has going on, and they roll up and make their lap. Kyle Salmon in left-hand side for Matt's Electric, Pat Busey Racing Engines, the 2003 model Chevrolet Cavalier. So purge out the nitrous system and get the bottle pressure exactly where he wants it. Same for Jeff Pittman on the right-hand side of the racetrack. So these two drivers will put themselves on the qualifying sheet as soon as they leave the starting line. But right now, both of them fully planned to try and get there as quickly as possible and take a lot of pressure off for the rest of the day. Kyle Salmon and Jeff Pittman, your next pair. Salmon will be quicker of the two, 4:22.2. Sits beside Jeff Pittman's 4:30. Looks like he might have rolled it in a little deep. He went to go on the trans brake button. Looks like the car might have lunged a little bit. All the numbers kind of look a little bit slow, showing that he was a little bit deeper into the staging process, which you would exactly hope for. So Walt Lanigan Jr., left-hand side, sits beside Jeff Melnick, number 1 and number 2 in the point standings. Walt Lanigan, left-hand side, Savannah, Georgia, for David Cook Construction. The 2010 model GTO, now under new ownership for David Cook Construction. Jeff Melnick, right-hand side, as you watch him back up from the burnout box on the quick drive drone. At home on FloRacing, Jeff Melnick out of Hubbard, Ohio, for Greenbrier Excavating, PTP Racing, Mickey Thompson. Everybody on board that program. They are out in front when it comes down to championship point standings, and number 2 in category is not here. It's Lexi Tanner. Number 2 in category not making the trip this weekend is Walt Lanigan is number 3. Apologize for that mistake earlier just a minute ago. So Lanigan comes into this race number 3 in the championship standings. Lexi Tanner 2, not able to attend. And Jeff Melnick sitting on the right-hand side of the racetrack in the white Chevrolet Camaro that you see on the Stevenson Hendrick right-hand side of the racetrack here at Galat Motorsports Park, is looking for another world championship here in category. Crew chiefs walk away. Jamie Miller and Patrick Barnhill on each side of the racetrack will overlook these two cars. Our final pair in category here in PTC Pro 632. Both straight and true down the center of their lanes. 4:16.0. Quicker of the two goes to Jeff Melnick. And that will tie Carson Hoyle and put him into the number one spot by speed. 171 miles per hour for Jeff Melnick. Takes down Carson Hoyle's 4:16.0 at 169 miles per hour. Walt Lanigan's 4:19 puts him in at number 5. So as the first round of qualifying completes for Pro 632, you see Jeff Melnick, Carson Hoyle 2, Nicole Liberty 3, JC Beatty 4, and Walt Lanigan number 5 rounds out your top 5 in category in Pro 632. And at this moment, go into a little bit of a track cleanup. Get ready for our 10-5 monsters. Pro Street fills the staging lanes now. Super Street, if you're not in the lanes, we need you now. Super Street, if you are not in the lanes, we need you now, please. Super Street, if you are not in the staging lanes for round number 1 of qualifying pairings, we need you now.
here we go with our Pro Street category, our first car out. Mauro Caringi making the haul from Ontario, Canada. A for Campus Auto Body, the 69 model Chevrolet Camaro, bringing some Noonan horsepower. Twin turbochargers on board as well. Caringi wastes no time, builds the boost. He has got his hands full. Slides it around in the middle of the racetrack, shoots out, and unbelievably does not hit an absolute thing. Well, what a driving job. The car went out, got in the middle of the racetrack. As you can see the marks left out there. It ramped in the power a little bit too quick and stood up on top of the tire. And the car fishtailed and wiggled the rear probably 10 times down the racetrack. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, you'll get to see it again right here as you see it stand up on top of the tire and just back and forth it goes. Mauro was waving at his crew on the starting line with the wheelie bars and the taillights, apparently, but wow, what a driving job and just an unbelievable moment of not hitting anything. But we'll go off the end of the racetrack and go, whew, because that's about all you can do is take a deep sigh of relief and go, man, thank goodness that it wasn't any worse. So Mauro Caringi going to go back and check over everything, including maybe the driving suit. Man, woo! Text I just got pretty much says it all. Harry Hogg would have been proud of that tune-up, that special set of match tires. So they may have to go find another set of special match tires for that one because those might be a little bit flat-spotted after that ride, but wow. What a start to Pro Street, and we'll try not to continue that performance, because that was not fun for any of us. Track crew has cleared everything on the racetrack as Michael Martin and Bobby Bingham will be the next two to tackle the racetrack here at Galop Motorsports Park. Michael Martin, left side. The Juice Man. A legend. East Coast for Outlaw 10-5 Racing. Still piloting his 69 model Camaro that he did for so many years. Still packing some nitrous oxide power. Billy Albert horsepower between the frame rails, and sling 'em bing 'em. The BRE race cars. Chevy 2 Novum, right-hand side of the racetrack, making his second outing here with us. The Redline Oil PDRA Series. A gorgeous piece of machinery over here on the right-hand side, tuned by Evan Salemi. Resolution Racing Services on board with this one. It's our first pair in category here in Pro Street. Both drivers will take it to the finish line. Bingham quicker of the two, 4:05, 194 miles per hour, and he has got his hands full in the shutdown area. His parachute came out and got in the weird spot in the air, and I think he saved it. Michael Martin, 4:15, but Bingham had his hands absolutely full as one parachute looks like it got tangled in the other one. Had his hands full, but saved it as he'll coast around the corner now. Well, I'm sure we'll watch it back on FloRacing for a live feed. Everybody watching at home on the instant replay. But from here, it looks like the first parachute deployed, and when it did, it just kind of went all over the place. Kicked the rear of the car up in the air, and Bobby Bingham was a little bit along for the ride. So you'll watch it back. Both parachutes come out, and yep, that is correct. They blossomed together. And that car got all kinds of sideways down there. Michael Martin did an A-plus driving job just to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. As Bobby Bingham was sideways down there and on top of the brake pedal whenever it picked the back of the car up down there. So, well, what an inauspicious start to Pro Street. Maybe third time's a charm. Let's get this bad luck out of the way. Joe Thomas, left-hand side, the American Dream. Chevy 2 Nova out of Charlottesville, Virginia, sits beside Marty Marilat. Blue Streak, 89 model Ford Mustang on the right-hand side. Both drivers out and gone. Marty Marilat, quicker of the two. How about 4:01, 182 miles per hour? Hey, nice, clean, smooth run. Two parachutes out on both sides of the racetrack, and we're all good down on the top end of the racetrack on this one as Marty Marilat goes to the top of the qualifying sheet, 4:01.8, 182 miles per hour for the Ohio-based chassis builder. So he will put himself on top of the leaderboard. Mikey Cecina down here on the clock. Team KTR thrashing to get this car to light. Looks like Stevie Jackson has got it. So Andy Manson and Mikey Cecina. Your next pair to come up here in Liberty's Gears Pro Street, brought to you by Menser Motorsports here this weekend. Manson, left-hand side, the 96 model Ford Mustang. If you're sitting at home or at work, just saw it come in your living room on the Quick Drive drone. Brought to you this weekend on Flow Drag Racing. So Andy Manson, left-hand side, the Manassas, Virginia-based Mustang will sit beside Mikey Cecina, the Henderson, Colorado-based El Jefe 03 Mustang. We sit tuned by Killing Time Racing. Stevie Jackson, Team KTR. TVM Brakes, Liberty's Gears. All of the number of people on board with that one, including Team Motion Raceworks. Mikey Cecina. Something about Stevie Jackson with a orange Mustang. Kind of brings back some memories. Even though this one's not a Fox body. Stevie Jackson and an orange Mustang. Just seems all's right in the world whenever that's going on. Both drivers going to move into the pre-stage bowl if they want to go to the top. Got to go quicker than 4:01.8. They just saw Marty Merilat do on the right-hand side of the racetrack. So Andy Manson and Mikey Cecina, your next two here in Pro Street. Cecina steps out of the pedal, and so does Manson. Cecina was quicker to 60 foot, 104. The car made a hard move to the left side of the groove nearly immediately. He stepped out of the pedal. Manson had his own troubles as well. Quicker of the two was Manson, 4:32. Mikey Cecina coast down 5:01 for time. Scott Kincaid and Chris Tootin, the next two to roll to the puddle. The loud car that you just heard, Scott Kincaid, screw-blown Chevrolet, and now the quiet car, the turbocharged entry of Chris Tootin. Tootin owes this racetrack a little bit of something. Back in April, he took that Mustang all the way to the final round and had some catastrophic engine failure, a big ball of fire, just about everything else you don't want to happen on a run. And that team ended that Galat event in the runner-up spot. Make the trip back here from Pelion, South Carolina here in the fall, looking to go one win light farther. What a story it would be after Chris Tootin's season of getting into the wall at Budds Creek, Maryland, rebuilding the car, and coming out at Bristol looking better than they have all season long. So it would not surprise me to see Chris Tootin make a run down the right-hand side of the racetrack to challenge Marty Merilat's #1 spot. Those of you that has followed the category for years, you know Scott Kincaid and that silver Camaro can go to the top just about any time they want. Tootin not going to make a run, but Scott Kincaid a straight true run in the first one to light it up in the 3-second range, 396.6. 194 miles per hour for Scott Kincaid. The Thornhill, Tennessee Chevrolet Camaro goes to the top of the board after 9 cars have staged up for time here in the first round of qualifying. If you're watching at home on Flow Racing, you'll watch it back. Tootin went into tire shake early and aborted, but what a picture-perfect run for Scott Kincaid right down the center, the first Federal, left-hand side of the racetrack here at Galat Motorsports Park. 396.6, the new time to beat here in Pro Street. Two drivers that are looking to challenge Scott Kincaid's 396. Tell him he was #1 qualifier for only one pair, Ron Green and Richard Reagan. Two drivers that can very well go to the top of the leaderboard. We're going to find out right now. What a side-by-side pair, and how about Richard Reagan, quicker of the two, 395. 195 miles per hour, and Ron Green, 396.8. 198 miles per hour puts Ron Green in at number 3. And how about Richard Reagan? The teammates from Tennessee currently sit number 1 and number 2 on the qualifying sheet with a handful of pairs to go. But Richard Reagan and Scott Kincaid made the trip to Galat Motorsports Park with one thing on their mind, and it was taking care of business thus far here in Pro Street. Past world champion sits on the left-hand side of the racetrack, and your most recent winner on tour. The big man himself, Fletcher Cox, right-hand side of the racetrack. Mullica Hill, New Jersey, driving the Training Day 69 model Chevrolet Camaro for Team KTR on board. Jeffrey Barker picking up the laptop this weekend as Phil Schuler not able to make it out here to Galat Motorsports Park due to previous engagements. Sits beside Bill Riddle. Riddle, the Corrigan Race Fuels Roots Blown Chevrolet Camaro. On the left-hand side of the racetrack for Marilat Racing and Red Line Oil. Riddle, known for laying down big laps when the opportunity comes available. He enters this race number 4 in the championship standings. Not really sure if he has a shot at the World Championship, but there is definitely a chance to finish top 3 and possibly even in the second spot if the dominoes fall the way that they need to for Bill Riddle. Sure. Next to last pair in category, your number 3 and number 4 in the championship standings. It's Fletcher Cox, Bill Riddle. We'll see if one of these two drivers can go to the top of the board and take down Richard Reagan's 395 too. Both of them door-to-door, top end. Both of them lighted up 397.2. Bill Riddle, quicker of the two on miles per hour, will go number 4. Fletcher Cox slides in at number 5. And like we said, side-by-side, 397.2 elapsed times out of the Roots Blown Camaro and the nitrous entry for Fletcher Cox. A side-by-side picture-perfect race. If we watch it back on the instant replay from FloRacing, I think Bill Riddle's got a little bit of a tire rub on the left side as you saw the white smoke coming out the back of the car. As our final pairing category sits in the water box and waits on the go signal from our ready line official. Your number 1 and number 2 in the championship point standings, and just over 1 round separates these two. When it comes time, there's 8 rounds left on the championship tour worth of eliminations. You got a little over a round difference right now. Blake Denton, the Chevrolet Camaro, sporting the nitrous entry, currently leads the point standings. And Ethan Stedding, the P2 Contracting Roots Blown Chevrolet Camaro, on the left-hand side of the racetrack, coming off a runner-up finish in the Bristol race last night. Made up a lot of ground on Blake Denton after taking down Denton in the opening round back at Bristol. So Ethan Stedding made up 3 rounds in one race. Both of these young gun drivers are motivated to go after a world championship. Ethan's already done it in Pro Street. Blake has done it in Super Street. Now chasing his first, driving the Camaro known as Bonnie. So left-hand side of the racetrack, Ethan Stedding. Like we said, your defending world champion, sporting the number 1 On the window for Carnegie, Pennsylvania, P2 Contracting, Redline Oil, WIO Motorsports, Tie Drive, NGK Spark Plugs, and a host of others that keep that car running at the top of the leaderboard here in the category of Pro Street. And right side, Blake Denton, the Camaro known as Bonnie, previously piloted by Lizzie Musey for Redline Oil, Franklin Electric, SmartCom Home Technologies, Jeff Pierce behind the laptop for that car, as well as Tommy Franklin, Pat Musey, a host of knowledge working on this car on the right-hand side of the racetrack, based out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. 24-year-old electrician going to try to keep himself leading the point standings. To do so, you got to outlast the kid on the left-hand side of the racetrack. Two young guns in category, a nitrous entry on the right-hand side, a roots blown Hemi. Left-hand side for Ethan Stedding. We said our final pair in category. If you want to go number one in the opening session, you got to go quicker than 395.2. Both drivers will be looking to do the same right about now. So they go side by side. Ethan Stedding, quicker of the two, 397. 193 miles per hour puts Ethan Stedding, number 6, Blake Denton, 4:03.5. Head the wheels in the air to the middle of the racetrack, and you almost wonder if they had a little bit of timing coming out on a wheelie control to only go 4:03 at 191 miles per hour. And after one session, Richard Reagan 1, Scott Kincaid 2, Ron Green 3, Bill Riddle 4, and Fletcher Cox, number 5. So all 5 are in the 3-second range. Ethan Stedding 6, Marty Mirlet 7, and Blake Denton, number 8. Rounds out your top 8 in category with 15 cars making time here in the opening round of qualifying. Super Street, brought to you by Brian's Heating and Cooling, rolls up to the ready line, and at this time, Top Sportsman. Top Sportsman, we need you to the lanes. Top Sportsman, we need you to the lanes for your second round of qualifying. Top Sportsman, need you to the lanes for your next round of qualifying. Frank Savelle III making his Super Street debut here with us this season. Partlow, Virginia-based 86 model Monte Carlo. Gonna make his first attempt here in Super Street. Car rolled off the starting line, made a little move to the left of the groove, and kind of went out, sounded like it mixed up a couple cylinders. So Frank steps out of the pedal, coasts down to go 6:35. It is first qualifying attempt in the books. Go back and turn a couple of wrenches.
Phil Hines and Brooks McMath. Next two roll up here in Super Street. Phil Hines, the Lebanon, Ohio-based 2001 model Mustang. Pro Charger powered Mustang. Oh, yeah. Number of runs all across this country in a number of different classes. Right-hand side, Brooks McMath making his second event here in Super Street. They're purchasing a Camaro that's seen Super Street success in the past. The nitrous entry for the Chesapeake, Virginia-based runner. Ran a career best yesterday in testing. Be trying to mimic that here once again, the opening round of qualifying. So Phil Hines and Brooks McMath take their first shot at the racetrack. McMath, quicker of the two. How about 465? 157 miles per hour. Do believe that is a career best run for Brooks McMath. Puts him on the top of the leaderboard. Filthy Phil, 488. 151 miles per hour for that team. So they will go to work, see if they can pick at it a little bit more. Going into the next round of qualifying is Dustin Mewborn and Dan Wenstein. Roll into the water box down. Mewborn, the turbocharged entry out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama, the owner of Performance Torque Converters, PTC. Over on the left-hand side of the racetrack, Dan Wenstein, the La Plata, Maryland, defending world champion. Right-hand side, 91 model Mustang for Pro Charger and Essex Motorsports. Both drivers, Ford Mustangs. So once again, Top Sportsman. Top Sportsman, if you are not in the lanes, we need you now, Top Sportsman. Again, we need you to the lanes, Top Sportsman. If you are not here, we need you now, Top Sportsman. Bring them on down. Stein 463.9, 157 miles per hour for Big Dan. We'll put him to the top of the sheet. Dustin Mewborn 517, had to lift out of the loud pedal as the car made a slight move to the right side of the groove and just couldn't bring it back. So 517, 114 for Dustin. We'll put him number 4 in Big Dan. Goes to the top of the sheet for right now, 463.9. A couple of pair to go.
Carson Perry and Matt Shallow both take down the racetrack quicker of the two. Matt Shallow 469.9, and Carson Perry steps out of the pedal early, goes 474 at 131 miles per hour. Down about 25 miles per hour for that one. Matt Shallow will go number 3, Carson Perry number 4. It's our final pair in category. Rolls in a battle of the small blocks and a battle of the cars. Battled it out last night. For the Bristol event win, and that one went to Connor McGee. See McGee on the right-hand side of the racetrack out of Pellion, South Carolina, the Bryant's Heating and Cooling 90 model Ford Mustang. Comes into this weekend with a lot of business to take care of. After the Bristol event, Connor McGee, your points leader, by 500 points. Number 2 man in points sits beside him, Austin Vincent. If Austin wants any chance at a world championship, he has got to have a big weekend here at Drag Wars. He needs a little bit of help for Connor McGee to go out early. These two drivers have battled it out all season long. Connor McGee has picked up 3 wins thus far on tour. The other win this season went to the kid, Austin Vincent, over on the left-hand side. The final pair in category. Set the bottle pressures. Car chiefs walk away. That's all on the drivers. Austin Vincent, Connor McGee, your final pair here in Bryant's Heating and Cooling Super Street, round number 1 of qualifying. Vincent loses the tire. Connor McGee straight and true, 464, 155 miles per hour for the South Carolina-based Mustang. Will put him in the number 2 qualifying spot. Dan Wenstein will lead the way. After one session, Brooks McMath at 3, Matt Shallow at 4, Carson Perry number 5 will round out your top 5 here in Super Street. The 9 cars have made a qualifying attempt. The 9-car ladder. You only take the top 8. So those drivers will be battling it out 2 more sessions to see who remains in the field. We take 8 cars to eliminations tomorrow here at Goliath Motorsports Park for eliminations. Top Sportsman, if you are not in the lanes, we need you now. Top Sportsman, if you're not in the lanes, we need you now for your 2nd qualifying session.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me. Proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
We drive tech. We drive the industry. Going beyond the limits and advancing forward.